Hi there, welcome to the Eclipse Golf Workshop and this equipment review on the Callaway Golf Forged Epic Iron, which I have here. I'm sure you've seen reviews on this already, but hopefully I'll be able to give you a little bit more insight about it. My product reviews are very much about stripping away the marketing, so it's a little bit more applicable to you, hopefully. And I certainly don't want you rushing out off the back of this review to buy them for yourself because you think they're the next best thing. It's very applicable, or it needs to be. You need to know, what it's all about. That's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm learning about it. I've hit it. I've got a good sense of what it does. I understand the technology, why they've done certain things. I even understand who they're positioning it towards, and that's an opinion. And then you start fitting with it, and you start to see, how it works in other players' hands, certain swing styles, speeds, techniques, and there are lots of them, aren't there? And it's really about building trust in the product, because what you don't want to do from somebody's fitting and recommending equipment, you don't want to be recommending things that don't work or don't do what they say they're going to do. Okay, so it's all a little bit of a learning process, and this is part of it. So I'm kind of sharing with you what I know about it already, but my knowledge on it is still a bit incomplete, and I'll be working on that going forward. So let's talk a little bit about the technical aspects of it and how it's made. It's a hollow-bodied iron, which does follow the trend of quite a few models recently from the other brands. You've got PXGs, you've got Titleist, Mizuno, Ping, so forth, all got hollow-bodied irons, but it's really what goes on the inside which is going to count. When you make a hollow-bodied iron, you are able to make it incredibly forgiving because you're taking all that mass away from the centre and you can reposition it around the perimeter, or you can use in other ways which make it, concentrate the weight in certain areas. So that's where the magic happens, isn't it? What happens on the inside. But let's talk a little bit about the material and how it's made at the moment. So it's a forged club, okay? It's a forged body, 1025 carbon steel, really soft material, has to be forged. And forging itself is quite an expensive process, but it's a very efficient, precise process. And for a precisely made iron, I think they needed to actually, put that into place. I don't think the forging is about it being soft, which often you associate the word forging with soft feel, which I don't think is the case with this design. It's more about the precision and that side of things. So they've got the word forged on the back of the medallion here, so they're calling it out. They've also got another word on the back of the medallion, which is tungsten. It's just up onto the little grey toe area, just up here, and it's kind of hidden away, and kind of like it's on there, but they don't want you to see it. It's a bit of a weird one, but kind of think I understand why. But when you're using tungsten, and this is where the magic is on the inside of this particular club, is that you're able to concentrate the weight. I'm sure you know tungsten is a very heavy, dense material, and the more of it you can use, the more you can concentrate the weight. If you saved weight by forging, that will definitely have happened. They've been able to save, make things thinner and more precise, don't have unwanted material in any part of the golf club. And they've saved weight in other areas as well. But where they've saved the weight, they then used it in this solid piece of tungsten to position that centre of gravity into a more performance effective area. So how have they done it? They call it dynamic suspended tungsten weighting. All right. So what does that actually mean? It basically means they've been able to precisely position the weight on the inside of this head. And the way they've done it, another thing on the inside of here is they have what they call microspheres. And these are made of urethane, all right, and they are there to dampen unwanted vibration, and it controls how it sounds, and it fine-tunes the sound. Callaway will tell you it's an amazing sound. It's a distinct sound. I've hit it. It feels and sounds solid. It feels and sounds powerful. But yeah, it's a vibration dampening technology using these urethane microspheres. But what they've been able to do is they've been able to insert the tungsten within these microspheres and suspend it basically within them. So it means they can be very, very precise about where they have the tungsten, therefore where they put and position the centre of gravity. Another area that they've actually saved weight is in the face. Okay, so the face itself, they've got Callaway have talked about 360-degree face cup for a long time. It's very thin and it saves weight. Again, all right, so if they save that weight, once again, that's one of the reasons why they've been able to use a little bit more tungsten and suspend it in that performance enhancing position. The face flexes a little bit more. People think the face flexes and then propels the ball off. That doesn't actually happen. What happens is the ball comes into the face, it compresses, and if the face flexes, the ball doesn't compress as much, and therefore the strike is more efficient, the transfer of energy is more efficient because there's less energy loss through heat and compression. So the ball comes off more quickly because the face is flexing and the ball doesn't compress as much. But yes, it does lead to more ball speed, and that's the advantage there. They've been able to save weight, make the face flex more, and make the ball come off quicker, and obviously use that redundant weight into other performance effective areas. So that's another area, the 360 face cut. That's another technology which is real. All the brands are talking about their faces and how they make the ball come off quicker. And really the strongest message in all of them is always about distance, isn't it? Because that's what sells itself to people. They want to hit it further, and there's no doubt this club hits it a long way, partly because of the 360 face cup. They also have employed within that face cup a new VFT pattern. VFT stands for variable face thickness, and it's about making it consistent across the face, because they're making the ball come off incredibly quickly now. But if it comes off faster off one part of the face than the other, then that's no good. Yeah, as a high handicapper you might not notice it, but as you get better and better, control of distance is really important. And they've used VFT. They've varied the thickness of the face. They've certainly made it a little bit thicker in the middle in order to be durable. You know, so if it flexes too much, it can break. It has to be durable enough, and they're able to thin the areas towards the perimeter a little bit more because that's more well supported. But VFT, this variable face thickness, allows them to strengthen it in particular areas which they know, might lead to a hot spot or less spin. But what it's leading to is consistent ball speed and spin for controlled trajectory. So all in all, what you've got there with all those things I've spoken about is it's a technical iron with some really nice features that make it, it's going to appeal to good players, certainly going to appeal to players who want to hit it further. And that will work. I mean, when you talk about other things, I mean, from a spec point of view, this club actually, from a physical length point of view, is a little bit longer than the older standard. Let's say 37 inches. When you measure it on the ruler, it's probably around about 37 and a quarter. This one actually measures around about 37 and a half, just over. Because they've made it longer, what they're trying to do is help you create more speed. More speed can lead to more distance. So this is a trend that has been going on and on. It's something we're aware of. They've actually made the lie angle a little bit more flat. It's like 61 degrees for the 7-iron, for example. Normally they've been up around about 62, but as they made it longer, as you push the club further away from you, the club sticks more up in the air. So to counteract that, they've actually flattened it off a little bit. And the lofts are incredibly strong. Okay, this 7-iron is like 27 degrees, I think, which is more like the old 5-iron. Okay, so incredibly strong 7-iron, a little bit flatter, a little bit longer. So it's geared to hit a long way. Now, when I've hit it, you can't think, well, it's just going to go low and long, but it doesn't. It takes off really well. It takes off high, and it moves through the air really, really well. So for me, the proof is, and I don't have this proof yet, I haven't tested it enough, the proof's going to be in how consistent is the spin and how low is the spin. If someone spins it low and it's knuckling down, this is probably, I'll certainly be aware of these being strong lofts and of making this ball spin too low. I think the most important thing is if the spin comes out a bit lower than normal, I'll be alright with that as long as it's consistent. So that's going to be a key thing. It's all very well getting distance, but it's got to be consistent distance. Yeah. Even if you're a high handicapper and you might not appreciate those variances in distance, they will be making a difference. So I'm not saying that this is going to have that problem. I think they've recognised that it is a problem in modern technology, using thinner faces and things like that. But I think they've addressed it with things like the VFT. Okay, so I take that as an encouraging sign. I take that as a sign of development, forward thinking. And they've used, expensive technical processes and materials to achieve what I think is going to be a very easy to hit iron that takes off pretty high despite the fact it's a low loft. And I'm hoping that the distance it gets is a consistent distance and a consistent flight, because that for me will make it very, very appealing from a positioning point of view. And I actually think this is a club which is it's an expensive club, okay? From a retail perspective, but I think it fits quite nicely in a gap between something like the Rogue irons and the Apex forged irons. Yeah, size-wise, we've needed something a little bit more like this. So the profile, I would call that fairly mid-width sole. It's not too wide, not too thin, okay? So it's going to have quite a wide appeal or performance benefit for quite a few players. So I like that. It's quite a muscular looking iron, okay? So the top line is not thin at all, and they've shampooed it off a little bit to make it look a little bit thinner. But that's part of the muscularity, and that blends in to the hosel in quite a muscular par area. But you know, when you set up behind the ball and you look down on it, yeah, I tell you what, it frames it really nicely. It looks powerful, and it gives you a lot of confidence. It's got quite a little bit of offset in there, which is nice. That definitely helps in terms of getting the ball up airborne. And it's very precisely shaped, which is where some of that, you know, forging process, you know, comes to the fore when. So I think that pretty much covers it from a design point of view. Face profile, I would say, is mid. You know, it's not overly large, it's certainly not too small. It does fit nicely between those two kind of models, which I've always been looking for, you know, really a club from Callaway range, which I've needed quite a lot. I've moved into other brands because I haven't quite had it. I think this fits really nicely, although obviously the price point might put some people off, who knows. It comes with two very premium graphite shafts, okay? The one I've got here is the steel fibre FC. Now, steel fibre was known more for its I series irons, which was really trying to make a graphite iron play like a steel. Okay, steel fibre, I mean, this has got a graphite core, and then it's overlaid with a pulled tube of steel fibres, and because steel obviously is more dense than graphite, it means they don't have to make the tube quite as thick. The actual, you know, the wall thickness is thinner than if this was a full graphite shaft, and if you can do that, what you then do is you get more feedback and feel and more precision from the shaft itself. And the structure itself, it reinforces the shaft so it doesn't deform as much. It gives it what they call more hoop strength. And that means the club doesn't deform, the shaft won't deform quite as much during a powerful downswing, which leads to better consistency and more uniformity. So it's interesting because really it's a graphite shaft with some steel technology or some steel properties that make it, you know, a little bit more stable. FC stands for flight control. And they've actually been able to modify the tip section in order for the longer irons to hit it, you know, a little bit more active, hopefully to help you hit the ball a little bit higher, and in the wedges it's a little bit more stable in the tip section, not quite as active and therefore slightly more penetrating flight. So a pretty neat, nifty stock shaft here. The other one is the Mitsubishi Tensei shaft, silver AV series I think it is, which is a full graphite shaft. That's around about sort of 50, 60 grams. This one is around about 70, 80, 90 grams, or 80, 90, 100, I can't remember. But they've really gone lightweight here in terms of both the stock shaft offerings. You will be able to put more steel shafts in there, so that's fine. But it's a club designed with lightweight shaft in mind. I don't think this is going to work that well with something much over 100 grams. It's just a guess, all right? It's just a guess. Because actually the swing weights on these are around about D0, D1, and actually at a longer length, that is, you know, and with actually quite a light grip. This is the Tall Velvet Align grip. It's around about 46 grams, and that will also contribute towards the swing weight being slightly heavier. So longer, lighter grip. You know, they've had to use a light shaft, I think, in order to keep the swing weights manageable. So, so there you have it. I think that gives you some, you know, hopefully some good information about what this club's all about. I'm quite excited by it. When I've hit it, I've enjoyed hitting it. It's got, I like the sound. It's solid. It's fiery. You know, I think the worry about the lofts being strong is always something you want to see in action, and I didn't have any issues at all. So, very excited about putting this into the fitting sessions and seeing how it goes. Hopefully that helps you. Any questions, please comment below. And if you'd like actually to get access to more of these equipment reviews, then please just click underneath the video and click on the Equipment Coach Collective Facebook group. It's a closed group. It's just there to strip away the marketing and give you lots of good information about equipment, not just equipment reviews, but performance in general, what it's all about and how it can help you. All right, so I hope that helps, and I'll speak to you soon.